In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard, live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is your spot. Loaded to the gills for the next 3 hours. Tons to get into, obviously, with the big Giannis trade from last night. The NBA draft getting closer and closer tonight. Tons on the World Cup as we have England and Ghana underway right now. Will Harry Kane break books across the country by scoring 1 or 2 goals today like everybody else has been?
How excited are you for this? If he scores twice, dim the lights.
I would think so.
Yes, right? FOMO, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the whole world's got it. The whole world had that ticket yesterday. And then you got Ronaldo that got 2 to
Got
start.
2 more.
Listen, it won't stop. I know.
It is. Tom Brady said, and they were talking about this on the broadcast earlier today. He asked the question, is this the best World Cup of all time? And they talked about it during the Portugal game. And they said, well, Tom, based on how many goals have scored to this point, yes, it's the most ever. So Mike Palm, his observations, best bets for today, looking at the next round of games as well in 30 minutes. JV2 was just on before us. He'll go over. He's been all over the NBA draft. The Meat Man, Steve Wiss, best bets in soccer, and Derek Stevens as well. Well, you are probably the most impatient person I've ever met in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You were begging for this Giannis Antetokounmpo deal to come to a head for months.
I was livid, yeah.
Probably for more than a year.
Yeah.
Finally happened last night. It took you a minute to respond to me, by the way. I sent Paulie a text. I was thinking I was going to get a text right back. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5. Oh, wow.
Well, disappointing. You know, Nick Whalen was on yesterday. Good to have you back, by the way. Happy Father's Day. This was, you go back to the first Shams tweet, it was May of last year. How long this went on. So he wouldn't flat out say, trade me. He wouldn't say, I'll only sign the extension in Miami or Boston. They do it at midnight on the day of the draft, right, as he's flying back in. So why it took so long, who knows? Why they couldn't make up their mind. But at least I feel good for Riley that he's able to do this. But I think it's absolutely lunacy and asinine what they've done in the futures market, considering you're not going to keep Powell. And you had to gut the team. I know.
Oh my God.
Would say, okay, Powell, 21 a game, not going to be there. Hero, 20 a game, gone. Can they keep Wiggins? That remains to be seen. Jaquez in the trade, 15 a game. So your spacing is questionable. You don't have many shooters, and this is a team that was in the play-in. So how are they the third choice to win the East?
I have no idea. Books are protecting themselves from what? They are, I mean,
well,
we can make a case.
The Miami money.
So would I. I would welcome it. I would say, you want 25 to 1? You want more than that? And by the way, like if you, this is the game that you had to play, right? Because we talked about this with prediction markets. Is he going to end up with Boston? Is he going to go to Miami? They were kind of flipping for a while, which team was a short shot to get him. So if you guessed correctly or if you firmly believe that it was going to be Miami at the end and you bet the Heat to win and have a ticket right now at 40 to 1, are you even feeling good about a 40 to 1 ticket in pocket? I don't need, Paul, if the books would say, you know what, screw it, we're going to go back and offer the Heat to what they were before they got Giannis.
Yeah.
You can have that number. I don't even know if I would bet that number. 14 to 1? Not a chance.
There's a book that has plus 450 to win the East. Come on. Detroit's better. Boston's better. The Knicks are better. Cleveland's better. I would argue Atlanta's better. They at least won 2 games against the Knicks. They could make another move, too.
How about the Pacers?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I know that's a fact.
How about the Hornets?
That the Pacers, maybe. The Pacers are, yes.
Yeah.
They went to Game 7 of the finals, and they added Zubac.
Yeah, if Halliburton comes back and he's close to 100%, that might be a huge if. I don't know. And then what's going to happen with Jaylen Brown, which we can dive into here, because all of a sudden there are reports out, and we're going to hear from Brian Windhorst in a second, but there are some Eastern Conference teams, one of which you already named, maybe more, that if they landed Jaylen Brown, and it depends on what they would have to do to get him, obviously, if they gutted their team, forget it, changes it. But if they could add Jaylen Brown, they go ahead of Miami, in my opinion.
Not bad. I do think the Bucks did the right thing, though, because if you acquire Brown, you have to worry about, does he want to stay in Milwaukee long term? He has a $300 million contract. You are paying 3 different coaches. You are still paying Lillard, and you're still paying Turner.
Think about that.
So that would have been ugly. So I think they did the right thing in what they decided to do at the end. But to your point, this isn't done, even though Boston didn't get Giannis, and he was a good-sized favorite yesterday at Pauley Market. This is Brian Windhorst today that the Celtics could still move Brown.
Boston is in a situation where they have put for the whole world out there Jaylen Brown, their finals MVP. They, of course, knew it was possible they were going to lose to Miami. They wanted to win. They made a very strong offer, but they were not willing to put their entire team in. They were not willing to put other pieces in because on the other side of this trade, they had to have a team. And so now what I expect to happen is a bidding war for Jaylen Brown from other teams in the league. In the most recent days, teams have been preparing for this eventuality, that it wouldn't be the Boston Celtics who won the Giannis sweepstakes and that there would be a Jaylen Brown market. And so we're going to watch that. I think it'll take some time to play out, but if there's a draft pick involved, it could happen today. I don't think that's likely, but it could happen today.
Strong. So let me give you some of the teams. This was thrown out there from Shams earlier today as well. There is actually only one team in the East, but that team is the Atlanta Hawks. Like you said, they might be better than them already. Well, what if they get Jaylen Brown and they have a bunch of people that they could make where I don't think they would have to gut the team to get Brown? Brown was freaking awesome last year. The other teams are all from the West. The Rockets, I'm guessing that Durant would be involved. Is that a good thing for the Celtics? The Blazers.
Like it.
The Clippers.
Possible.
The Spurs.
No. Oh, no.
Hey, Boston, you want De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, okay.
Then what?
That's a bad contract. Yeah, sure. Sure, absolutely.
The Denver Nuggets. Now we're really cooking here. How good would the West be then and the Pelicans?
Well, if Stevens kept saying, I want to change the way we play, and how they went out and blew a 3-1 series lead, and you're worried about that relationship now with Brown and Tatum, you've said maybe they're trading away the wrong guy. Maybe they should trade away Tatum, but because they were able to get the 2 seed. But how about, and a lot of media members got this wrong, and especially Chris Haynes, who said Boston was in the lead comfortably late last night. You didn't make this trade because you wouldn't include Hugo and Shireman?
Are you serious?
Is this what prevented you from getting the guy?
According to multiple reports.
Okay.
What are we doing here?
No kidding.
For Giannis, you're that high on Hugo Gonzalez and Shireman? What has happened to the NBA? That is absolutely baffling to me. And then you had other Boston media defending it. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
The guy's
I don't want to par with those guys. Are you sure?
Yeah.
For Greek Freak.
Yeah.
Wow. Again, one of my biggest takeaways from the whole thing is the biggest winner, I think, the Knicks. Because the Heat, I don't know if this really does much to the Heat in terms of being an Eastern Conference winner or an NBA title contender. And also the Celtics not getting him, that's probably a really good thing for the New York Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
And they are 3-1, maybe a little bit higher than that to win the East.
I think the only bet to be made is on the Pacers, the team that no one's talking about, that took down the Knicks the last 2 years when they were healthy. I think that's the only team you can throw a future on.
I'm glad you brought up Zubac, by the way.
Oh, he's excellent.
That team is going to, I think, catch some people by surprise at how they could look to begin the season. Assuming, again, full health for, most of their guys. But I also think, by the way, side note, I think the haul was good enough for Milwaukee that they now moved at some spots to 500-1. I guess maybe they're a little bit higher to win next year. In fact, we're looking at the odds screen right now. DK has 80 to 1 to win the East. Other books have like 500 to 1 to win the title. So if that correlates, if that number actually correlates with their win total, and they keep this team together, because there are going to be suitors for Tyler Hero, but if Milwaukee says, nah, we want to see, because we have tonight in the draft, we have 10 and 13 overall now in the lottery. Maybe they move up. Maybe they keep those picks.
You could do that.
It's a loaded draft. So if they come away with 2 nice players, or 1 if they trade, and they keep this whole team now together, I will absolutely be on a win total over for this team next year. I mean, assuming the number is correct, somewhere probably, 500 to 1, are you going to put a 35 win total on there? You can't. It's got to be lower than that.
Well, there's some depth now too.
Yeah.
Your Charlotte team's going to be tough. Toronto was the 5 seed, and then I don't know what the Wizards are doing. I mean, already Brian Windhorst called that. They just gave it to him. Called it the worst contract in the NBA. You get the number 1 pick, and then for whatever reason, you give Trae Young $200 million. What are they doing?
I have absolutely no clue.
I was stunned by that, and it just Atlanta couldn't wait to get rid of him and soared after they traded him, and at least gave the Knicks a run for their money.
Do you agree?
They immediately come in and give the guy $200 million.
Is it worse than the De'Aaron Fox contract? Is it worse than the Chet Holmgren contract? If I can speak here.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, because Holmgren had a bad series against the Spurs, but he's still a good player. And
okay, Wemby outplayed him and made him look foolish.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
But this guy, he's, as I said yesterday, he's the Kirk Cousins of the NBA. What does he have? 2 playoff series wins? And how well the team played without him? Why did you do that? It's like what the Sixers did with Embiid. He wasn't even asking for the extension. And he was always
said, here you go.
Here you go. Here's another 3 years, 4 years. Let's tack it on.
Yeah.
And why that's right up there now with Trae Young.
Yeah. Again, a little bit more here on the Heat. I do think that defensively, they're going to be awesome. How are they not?
Okay, fair.
But they clearly need a bunch of shooting, a bunch of ball handling, like guys that are able to get their own shot offensively. Like they need depth. How are they going to plug the gap?
I know. It's like when the Knicks got Melo. Yeah, you got your superstar, your big name, but look what you had to give up so much to get the guy. Though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I think if it's a pretty good haul for the Bucks at the end of the day.
Yes, I'm with you. The other thing too, this is unmitigated disaster if Harry Kane scores the first goal.
Oh, the first one.
Other one. Yeah, those are also in there.
We will discuss this coming up next. The World Cup. This game's in action as we speak in the 12th minute now, and I think Paul's right. Wrecking ball to Bucks if Kane scores a couple here.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. Second half is coming up in about 10 minutes or so. England and Ghana, they are scoreless right now. What are you seeing right now, Paulie, for a scoreless draw at the end of it?
Plus 375. 0-0 detectors out. Before the match, it was 16-1. BTTS no at Caesars is minus 650.
Oh, man.
They don't think Ghana's getting one.
No.
Yeah.
I will say that Ghana's defense, specifically of the corner kicks, to me, watching it live on the air, it has been like elite. Great stuff. Giving like England no room to breathe whatsoever. More on that coming up in about 15 minutes. Right now, we begin the hour by going out to the Progressive guest line. VSiN host Jonathan Von Tobel. His show is Money Moves right before us at 2 o'clock Eastern time. I also host a podcast with him here at the VSiN Network on a weekly basis called Pod to the Futures, which we recorded earlier today. What's up, JVT? How are you?
I'm doing well. Very excited for what's going to transpire here in the next couple hours for the NBA draft. The NBA itself has been fun with the Giannis trade and more to come. My guy Kawhi may be on the move too, so it's going to be a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay. As for the draft itself, are we pretty sure, or are you pretty sure that 1 through 4 is set right now, or do you still have some questions about it?
I think 1 through 4 is set in terms of the 4 players that are going to go. I don't know, at least I think. I'm still holding out hope that Darren Peterson is still going to be this guy at number 1. I think if you look at some of the language around the reporting with Debonsa, there's been one person in the entire media landscape that has outright said Debonsa is the selection for the Washington Wizards. Grant Afseth, who is located in Dallas, covers the Mavericks Wings, was the one who reported it over the weekend. The market didn't move, though, from Grant's report. If you look at the way that guys like Shams Charania have danced around the topic, the way he phrases it, that the league-wide belief is that Debonsa is the favorite. But Windhorst today even said it on the NBA Draft broadcast, guys. Nobody has any idea what the Wizards are going to do. We had a Washington Wizards reporter for Monumental Sports Network come out and say nobody has any clue what Washington's going to do. And we'll take you back to a couple of examples when it comes to the media not really knowing anything. How about last night where Chris Haynes goes on NBA TV and says that Giannis and the Celtics are going to be the match, and hours later it's the Heat that grab him. And how about 2023 when Shams reports that the Hornets are in line to select Scoot Henderson instead of Brandon Miller, and then Brandon Miller, of course, is the selection of the Charlotte Hornets as opposed to Scoot Henderson. So I know that the market is in that range. We just saw DraftKings go from -1,000 to -700, so maybe there's some support out there for the thought that maybe we're getting a little too far out. I would understand anybody who thinks it's Debonsa, but I do think there's a shot we still get Peterson going number 1.
Well, if Peterson is available at 2, is he going 2 then? Because he was $1.40 yesterday, and now he's up to $3.10.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. There was a report over the weekend, I think it's part of the market move too, Paul, right, which was initially, remember, he was not going to meet with the Utah Jazz. Then over the weekend, he reportedly worked out for the Utah Jazz. So maybe opening the door there for him being selected. And Brian Wu and others, Brian Wu being of ESPN NBA draft analyst and others have reported the Jazz don't care. If he slips there, he's going to be the selection. We know that Peterson and Debonsa are going to be 1 and 2. The question just becomes what order they're going to be. So I don't think there's really any question that it's going to be Peterson there if he is available, and then he will not slip past the top 2 picks.
Okay. Your first surprise in the draft would come where then?
I mean, I think it's got to be 5, right? Just because we just don't exactly know. And it seems that Keaton Wagler has solidified his spot as the 5th overall pick for the Los Angeles Clippers. He, again, just like Peterson, had canceled all workouts. He only worked out with Chicago and with the Los Angeles Clippers. He has been linked and mocked in that spot widely, almost everywhere. But there's been some interesting reports around the Clippers. The first of which was that kind of came and went with the wind, that they were widely impressed with Braden Burris when he went in there and had that workout with them. And that all of a sudden has kind of disappeared. Nobody's really bought stock into that, but a lot of people in the buildings reportedly really like him. And Michael Brown Jr., the thought being that they want to pair him as a bigger guard next to Darius Garland. I think that Wagler is going to be the pick. I think the market's right in making him the odds-on favorite. But I would not be surprised when you have a trio of guards that are going to be out there that it's going to be the selection. And I think there's a lot of traction out there that it actually might be Brown. And that's where we might get our first surprise outside of the number 1 pick. I think that Brown could shock some people, I guess, if you want to use that term, and actually be the ultimate selection for the Los Angeles Clippers there at number 5.
Okay. Well, how did you approach betting pick number 6 overall? Because I think this would shock a lot of the audience and most people overall if your guy here would go tonight.
Yeah, so I have it's a little bit of a good number because I've got 10-1. He's down to like 850, but I took Adem Mara to go with this 6th overall pick for the Brooklyn Nets. You know, much like Washington, if you read some of the reports, there is some thought that nobody really knows what Brooklyn is doing. Michael Brown Jr., the odds-on favorite here to go with the 6th overall selection. He's been the name that's been heavily mocked in this spot here for Brooklyn. But Brooklyn is reportedly mum on what they've been able to do, or at least some of the information that's out there. They worked out Mara allegedly, and they really do like him. And I think that we might get, you remember like the post-Jokic finals victory where there was kind of like this thought of like, let's go grab some centers because we got to match Jokic because this dominance going forward is going to be crazy. Mara is a guy that is a Diet Wemby type, right? He's well over 7 feet. He's athletic. He can run in transition, maybe has some spacing to his game as well. There was footage of his workouts where he was hitting threes too. And I think he might be a player that is going to be coveted and maybe goes a little bit higher than we expect, given Wemby's dominance in the league right now too. So took a long shot flyer on Mara to go there at 10-1 with the 6th overall pick. But I'll say this too, to add to it, Mitch, I don't think it's going to be Darius Acuff. I think Acuff, rightfully so, is slotted to go number 7. I think that has been the match made in heaven. The Sacramento Kings want him. And by all accounts, Clippers are between Brown and Wagler. And it sounds like Brown and or Adem Mara, potentially one of these other guards, Wagler is there too, are going to be the selection and not Darius Acuff for the Nets.
Yeah, so that's the guy I was talking about before the break. You're adamant that Acuff is going to go over his reposition prop, which is 6.5. But you were saying this when that was available for plenty of days at plus money. And now, I mean, I'm looking at DK. He's minus 175 to go 7th overall.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes more sense. Just given where you're at, I know Acuff's got the scoring upside, but when you have some of these big-bodied guards like Brown, like Wagler, who are going to fit in there, comps for guys like Wagler are more like a Tyrese Halliburton type, and then the makeup of the teams that are there too. Obviously, Darius Garland's already there too, so it doesn't match for what the Clippers already have. And then for the Brooklyn Nets, just following the reporting of what they want, I mean, they could be a giant team if they go out there and they get Brown. I think it just makes more sense they would head in that direction too. So I just think that it makes more sense. And the Kings too, I mean, there was some reporting that the Clippers might take him 5, Acuff, just to make the Kings trade up for him. But that has really quieted down. And it seems like the Kings are going to be the absolute rock bottom floor for Acuff. And that's the spot that makes the most sense for him right now.
Are you surprised at the movement on the Miami Heat in the futures market? When we ran it down earlier, we think there's several teams that are plus 450 at one book to win the East.
I think it's insane. I mean, look, they're going to be a good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're like the 4 seed, Paul. I think they have good regular season team written all over them. They should be an elite defensive group. If you look at their projected starting lineup, assuming they're going to go and get Norman Powell and re-sign him, you're talking about Davion Mitchell, Norm Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo. That's a pretty formidable starting 5 when you're talking about their ability to defend and be very good in a regular season setting. But in a best-of-7 series, I'm sorry, I'll lose if I'm playing off Bam Adebayo and asking him to hit threes for you if you're the Miami Heat. That's going to be a spacing night for them, a nightmare for them when they get into the postseason. Mm-hmm. And then look around about some of the moves that might be out there. Like, Paul, if I told you right now that the Pistons were going to go and land one of Kawhi Leonard or Tyler Hero, which is some of the names they've been sniffing around, I think they would be better than them. If I told you that Tyrese Halliburton was going to be healthy by the time the end of the year came around with their addition of Ivica Zubac at center and what they already have,
no doubt.
I think that is a team that power rates better than them. So I'm not surprised because they're the flavor of the month and it's a big name and you're going to short the odds because you're going to get a lot of people in there. But if you're talking about true power ratings with the way that this thing could break down, I would have them about 5th in the Eastern Conference. And then we don't even mention, teams like Philly or Cleveland in that conversation either. So I think it is very a reactionary, I should say, to put them as high as they are in the Eastern Conference, given the addition of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. How about if Powell leaves Miami and goes to the Pistons?
Maybe a great acquisition.
Yes. You kidding me?
Yeah.
It's not even a guarantee that he returns. You're right.
Yes. Yeah. I do like this, though. They did get Portis in the deal, and they didn't have to get the poison pill with the Kuzma contract. I think that was big.
No, I think you're right. And look, they're going to be good, but look at their ball handling, right? With Yakuchonis not there anymore either. Backup point guard and just point guard in general is kind of a nightmare. You don't really know exactly who's going to be that north-south presence to facilitate the offense as they move it around too. I think, look, Spoelstra's really good, and they're going to be able to add some pieces to make this better. This is not a nightmare by any stretch. I don't want to make it out to be that way. But we see all the time in the NBA, when you have roster limitations, I mean, look at the Pistons, for example, that limitation of having just Cade Cunningham as your primary shot creator, scorer, and a lack of spacing, that did them in. And I think that is ultimately going to be the downfall of this current version of the Miami Heat. So I like them. I would bet them to make the playoffs. They should be a top 4 or 5 seed, but I do think that they're ultimately flawed when you get to playing in these playoff series against some of these teams that we're talking about.
Yeah. Hey, JVT, what about another bet to make on a team that could land, or maybe like in a prediction market where this player could end up? You mentioned Kawhi earlier. Like, what do we make of Kawhi? What do we make of Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, Brown's an interesting one because I don't exactly know where he would ultimately end up. I mean, he should be coveted because there's the contract that's a little bit more friendly than what Trae Young just signed. I know, Paul, you mentioned that in the break. That's the most untradeable contract now ever. And then Kawhi floating out there. To bring this back to them, I keep thinking, and I've talked about this with Zach Cohen before, he's big on this. I still think that if you're a team like the Pistons, you're offering up like a Ron Holland type of maybe some sort of package to go and get Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers are very clearly, and tying it back to the draft too, of them making that selection, they're very clearly steering toward the youth movement. They traded Zubac, they traded James Harden. They're going with what they have in terms of these young pieces, Darius Garland and others. And I think Kawhi is going to be on the move. Shams reported just a couple of minutes ago that they're meeting with him this week to figure out what the direction is. I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi's gone. And right now, you can get double digits on the Pistons. That, to me, is the bet to make in the Eastern Conference right now, getting ahead of some of this action.
All right, good stuff, pal. Enjoy the draft tonight. Make sure you follow him on X as well, @MeJVT. And the latest edition of Pod of the Future is going to be out a little bit later on today that we recorded earlier this morning.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Be good, bud. There you go. On the Progressive Guest line, up next, second half underway. England, Ghana. and you'll hear some surprisingly honest audio from one of the very best players on the earth talk about their next match next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Thanks for checking in. More best bets here coming on the World Cup as we go out to the Progressive guest line. The Meat Man, Steve Wyss, joins the program now. He is with Because We Win podcast and the Betting Weekly studios. Follow him on X at Meatman Soccer. Hey, pal, thanks for the time. As always, we appreciate that. Let's begin with this match on Tuesday night. And you tipped off Colombia with us a couple of years ago at a gigantic number to win the World Cup, and they look great in their first match. They're getting DR Congo. What do you like here?
Hey guys, Colombia. I think they get the job done this evening. I really do. They've got. I think they get DR Congo in a great spot here.
Yeah.
Because if DR Congo now beat Uzbekistan in their last remaining group game, which is just a few days' time, then DR Congo, 99.9% sure of being in the last 32. So I think it could be a look-ahead game for Congo, and Colombia can take advantage. They're the better team anyway. They've got a lot more quality than DR Congo, especially offensively. In Luis Diaz, they've got probably one of the top 10 players in the world from a technical level. He's always worth looking at player props to score or assist, that sort of thing. But the bet I like, Colombia -1 Asian handicap. You can get this about -120, even a little bit better in some spots. So as long as they win the game, you are not going to lose anything. But I see them covering this spread, winning by 2 or 3 goals. Congo defended well against Portugal, but it's going to be hard for them to do that again so quickly, especially in the look-ahead spot. So Colombia, for me, get the business done.
Sounds good. Tomorrow, at the same time, both matches at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. How about Switzerland and Canada to start, total of 2.5?
Well, I think it's the sort of game both teams need to try and win top the group, because in theory you should get an easier route forward, especially Canada. They get to stay in Canada if they win the group. So I think it's well worth their while, winning and topping the standings. Switzerland, I'm not sure quite how as motivated they'll be. But in my experience, these sort of matches do get quite offensive quite quickly. So the evens on offer for over 2.5 goals, I think, is kind of tempting. I think actually this will end up being minus money over 2.5 goals, depending on the lineups. But it's just one of those where I think it would be. I think they do want to win the group. So it's neither, or at some stage in this game, one of the teams is always going to be not happy with the outcome. And it usually means an offensive game. The only danger is if Switzerland are content with finishing second. But I don't think they will be.
Okay. Also at the same time, you see fireworks, Bosnia and Qatar, BTTS -120.
Big time. Yeah. I think this is an offensive game. I think we're going to get a lot of potential goals in this one. I think the best bet for it is both teams score yes, around about -120. I thought about over 2.5 goals here. I thought about over 3 Asian goals here. But both teams have to win it. It's what I call an ABBA game in soccer. The winner takes it all. And the loser's going to fall because the loser will be knocked out. And a tie will eliminate both as well, in all likelihood. So they've both got to go for it. Both teams are pretty bad, in my opinion. So that's a slight concern if you're going to be betting on the money line. I mean, Bosnia should be winning it, but I don't think you'd feel too comfortable betting on them about -270 in some places.
Yes.
But they've got to go for it. And, Qatar, they are bad. They may be even the worst team in the tournament, but they've still got a chance to qualify. It's incredible. If Qatar win this game, they could still qualify for the last 32, which would be kind of absurd.
Yes.
All it's going to take is them to get the win. They're not going to win to 0. I don't think any team's going to win to 0 here because the defenses aren't good enough. So it's both teams score, yes, best bet on the game, but you could look at general overs as well.
All right, how about Wednesday night then? 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock out here on the West Coast. South Africa is getting South Korea, and you like the total in this match as well?
Yeah, this would probably be the best bet of all of these that I'm giving. It's either this one or Colombia. This has got to be an over because South Africa have got to win it. And I think finally we're going to see this South African team kind of released off the lead, if you know what I mean, off the leash. It's got to be gung-ho aggressive, and they're going to leave so many spaces in behind for South Korea to get in behind. And South Korea have the personnel, they have the attackers, they have the physique to take advantage of that. They don't have to win it, South Korea, but I think they're going to be given enough opportunities to win it. And South Africa, another team, they need to win the game, but do I see them winning to 0? Absolutely not. In which case, it has to be the overs. And I'm amazed you can get evens on this. South Africa, South Korea overs, considering the group situation where one team absolutely has to go for it. It's probably going to take unnecessary risks. The other can pick up the pieces and are capable of covering the goal line all by themselves anyway. So, yeah, over 2.5 goals. South Africa, South Korea, even money. Probably one of the best bets on the slate that I'm giving out tonight.
Watch them every morning because we win pod. The Meat Man and Nigel Seeley's on the Progressive Guest Line. And how about a couple futures here? How about Mbappe, top goal scorer, plus 225?
What a race this is for the top scorer. All the big stars are firing, aren't they? But I said all along, I think France could well win this competition. And if they go deep, I don't see really how Mbappe's not going to be the top scorer because he just looks so strong at the minute. He looks so motivated. And we know he's not going to ever turn down the chance to stay on the field. Messi at the minute is leading the way with 5 goals, but I do wonder, will they even play Messi in the final group game? I'm not sure they will. They've got to look after his minutes. They've got to look after his load. Mbappe's much younger, fitter, stronger in that way. And, France's route through in the knockout rounds looks at the minute quite favourable against teams who are not great defensively. Even Germany, a potential last 16 match, that's a good one for him matchup-wise because the German Achilles heel's the defense. So I think Mbappe is the top scorer at the moment. I think he's going to be the one they're going to go deep in the competition, and at plus 225, I think now is the time to get on Kylian Mbappe.
Okay. Well, we always talk about the top scorer. The golden ball does not get enough attention, but you have a 9-1 shot. Talk us through this one.
Spain are about plus 500 to win the World Cup, right? Plus 550 in certain places. Yet Lamine Yamal is plus 900 to win the golden ball. Now, Spain are a serious contender. They could absolutely get their hands on this trophy. If they do that, you've got to think Lamine Yamal is the main man that's got them there. So, again, it's one of those where the odds just look far too generous for what it is. I know some people are a little bit cool on Spain compared to where they were a month ago in the tournament. But, Yamal, remember, has not been fit enough to start the tournament yet. They've been gradually working him back. He scored in the match against Saudi Arabia. And again, if they go deep in the competition and win it, who are they going to give the Golden Ball trophy to? This is the best player in the tournament. I suppose you could give it to Messi if he was, say, the runner-up or maybe reaching the semi-final. But for me, it would be Yamal if Spain win the trophy. I don't see any other person that would get it. So for me, it should be plus 500, plus 600.
Okay. Is there a team, a country right now that you would take a shot on based on the results we've had so far to win the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm going to give a big number here. And this is a sprinkle. But Ecuador, I said pre-tournament 100 to 1 is good. They're now 250 to 1. The one thing they've got to do, they're going to have to beat Germany in the last group game to get in the last 32. But that's very doable because the Germans should be sitting all their starters for the final group game.
Okay.
It makes a lot of sense for Germany to do that. So I think Ecuador can definitely beat them in that final group game. You might just want to play them in that game because if they don't win that game, it's all over. But 250 to 1, if Ecuador get in to the last 32, they're not going to be anywhere near those odds. And I said it before, they are going to be a good team in the knockout matches. They're good defensively. They're good at being a dog, and they're finally going to be a dog again now for the rest of the tournament. So this is now the time to take a flyer on Ecuador if you like them at 250 to 1. You might as well take a sprinkle because if they do beat Germany, there's a chance you could certainly hedge on them if they went a decent run into the knockout tournament.
Right.
I think it's too big, 250 to 1 for a team that I like pre-tournament.
I heard you mention it was a disaster for Bet Rivers. How many people told you or showed you and Nigel those tickets on Haaland, Mbappe, and Messi, all to score 2 goals.
Lots. It's been, there's been some big beatings for the sportsbook at this tournament. I think the biggest beating so far was when in the USA-Paraguay match, when the USA racked up a big win for 4-1. But these player props are starting to kill the sportsbook as well because all the big stars keep scoring. Maybe there's some respite here if Harry Kane doesn't score for England tonight. We're watching it live. There's 15 minutes to go. But it's been terrible for the sportsbooks with the main player props.
It has to be.
Oh, yeah.
How is it not?
And the run that the favorites have been on lately, too.
You can follow Steve on X at Meatman Soccer. That was awesome. Thank you. Best of luck again. We'll talk to you later in the week.
Thanks, guys. See you Thursday.
Be good.
Got it. Thanks, Butcher.
Because We Win podcast and Betting Weekly Studios joined us here on the Progressive guest line.
It was popular last week. Everyone had FOMO that didn't play it, 130-1. You come right back 6 days later, 80-90-1 hits.
And based on that, we're going to dive into our pizzeria up next. Let's see your tickets, what you had the other day when all those goals came in. Next here on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Busiest June I can ever remember. Best June I can ever remember.
Yeah.
It might be the best World Cup so far that I can also ever remember. But also we're set up, and Derek Stevens joins the program now. He's the owner and the CEO of Circa Las Vegas. His weekly spot is with us now on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern time. Perfect time zone obviously helps out as well. All these games right in our wheelhouse is a beautiful thing.
You know, you brought it up last week, World Cup fever. You asked me right when we were going off air, and I said, "Yeah, I caught it." A lot of us that you wouldn't say would normally be soccer fans have caught this World Cup fever. We love it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, the ratings. Obviously, we've all seen the stories about the ratings. You've seen it physically in here. The impact. On some teams and what it's had in our hotel business and our casino business, sportsbook. Mexico's unbelievable for us here.
Yeah.
U.S. is unbelievable. Brazil's been very good. Argentina was good, and seeing how this is going to play out. England's been good. I mean, it had a big impact on Stadium Swim this morning. This is such a big deal that it's impacting. I think it's going to impact a lot of publicly traded companies' quarters. We're privately held, and it's impacting our quarter. I can tell you that.
It has to.
I mean, you just said the best June ever. It sure is.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That backs it up. Then
I was going to sorry, man. Your VP GM David Rossborough had a good line. I'm not even a soccer guy, but you get goosebumps with the USA chants and the play. So, are you happy with your team? That the place was packed, elbow to elbow Friday, bringing people in and keeping people here on a holiday.
Yeah, this has been amazing. I mean, I thought we had great NHL and NBA playoffs. They end about the same time, and then this just kicks in and boom, just accelerates. I mean, it's going to take us through the first couple weeks of July, and then we're not holding our breath for 10 weeks like we usually are for football to start.
This is going to be the quickest offseason for the NFL for everybody that I can ever remember. I mean, I remember 94 a little bit. I was also in high school. My buddies and I enjoyed the games, but do I really remember that much about it? No, not really. And certainly it's nothing like it is today. So, again, like you said, this sports book looked great with the turnout by England today. Stadium Swim, evidently very, very strong. How were they betting the book? Was that a good result that they did not win? Were people parlaying them with Portugal and other favorites? Or
it looks like we won a little bit.
Okay.
Won a little bit. I mean, I do know that one thing I've come to realize that anytime there's a draw, I can't expect to see an update where we look good because there's no question. Everybody bets a draw.
Here they are.
Oh, here everybody is.
They are.
People
caught on now.
I think what happened was the one day when it was the four game draw parlay. I think there's some people just trying to, relive last week. But no, they're betting the draw. But no, we did it. We did okay. I think we did okay. Yeah, we're up a little bit.
They're betting the salami too?
Yeah, salami was our biggest thing that we needed today. We weren't in good shape after the first game with 5 goals, but after the second game at nothing. We got a shot. So our total's 11.5. House needs the under 11.5 today. So they have been betting the salami pretty good each day.
They have pretty good every single day. Yeah. All right. So you don't need 7 goals combined in the last 2 matches.
Yes. Yep. Correct.
Okay.
That's a good market.
You also said that is this a today thing compared to previous days or previous weeks? But you said the Yerfy-Nerfy betting handle today here.
Oh, today
in baseball is crazy.
Yeah, it's the Nerfy. The Yerfy-Nerfy market today has been unbelievable. I don't know if we had a number that was off a little bit, and all of a sudden we see this from time to time where all of a sudden somebody bets, yes on a Yerfy, and then we move it and bounces back. It's like this volley, like around the country where we're licensed, and it just goes back and forth. I can tell you though, the way it's playing out. Rays Royals game, House needs the Yerfy. We're way long on the Nerfy. But yeah, they've been betting them. They've been betting all of them, parlaying them all. It's amazing.
Okay, and today is like more so than
today is definitely more so than an average day. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about our NFL guide earlier. Obviously, you're a Detroit guy. Second time in 3 years, they're my team. I think Detroit has a chance to do a lot of damage this year, Derek. I'm talking win 13, 14 games, their division. They need to stay healthy, which they're due for some regression there. But there's so much to like with this team. Their schedule is so easy.
Yep. Yeah, I think I was with you when I threw a number like that out. Yeah, I think everything could line up if they can avoid injuries. Yeah, I can see this team winning 13 or 14.
In that division? Boy, that's aggressive.
I'm down on Green Bay.
Why?
I think they're a non-playoff team.
Oh, wow.
The Parsons injury absolutely scares me.
Yeah. Bears have come down, but
regression. Bears do scare me, but they're going to have some regression.
Vikings are a wild card.
I like the Vikings ceiling, but that comment from Charchian scares me on them.
Okay.
What Charchian said?
He's hated their drafts have been terrible 4 years running. It's the reason why the GM got fired. If they have he hates the depth. Depth is not good. If they have injuries, forget about it.
So it takes you back to the Lions.
And I liked them anyway.
Yeah.
Based on who they were going to play this year.
Yeah. How did it work out publicity-wise standpoint, reaching out to Freddie? And if you heard back from Freddie with stuff on social media, this kid's exploded.
Freddie, yeah, what an American story this is. I don't even know if he's real. You think he's real?
I don't know what's going on. It's getting. He doesn't respond. You offer a private jet, he doesn't respond. And then he's, my flight got canceled. Governor's reaching out. Airlines reaching out. Yeah. Can't see his face. He can take 3 months off. He doesn't work. What's going on?
I think we made him a pretty good offer at that point in time.
Yes, you did.
After that, the offers just keep escalating. So we backed off. We reached out a couple times, and he seems to be staying in the Midwest and the Northeast. So he's like looping around doing his thing. Good for America. I will tell you though, it's pretty cool to watch all these Europeans come in and be enamored with things we get accustomed to. The way they look at what it's like to walk into a Costco or walk into a fast food restaurant. We got it pretty good around here, and it's kind of nice to see it.
Lives were changed when he went to Raising Cane's.
Yeah. Oh, did you see? I think it was the South Korean fans who sat down at a Mexican restaurant, and all of a sudden there's a big bowl of chips and like guacamole and salsa, and they're like, we didn't order these. No, I don't want these. They're like, no, you didn't. This is all comes. And they're like, wait, what? We don't really? Have to order this stuff. You just bring it to us and it's free.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden our thing was empty, and before we could even blink, here's more. Just keep it. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Not bad.
And the joy of these countries like celebrating together.
We forget about like the free refills. They fill you up with. You go to a breakfast place, you get a little extra coffee. You go to fill you up with an extra jumbo Coke or whatever.
How about the Norwegian fans yesterday in Manhattan?
Man, that's awesome.
Those videos were insane.
We're doing our best to try to get some Scottish fans and Norwegian fans out to Vegas. I want to see if we can get them. You know, the Norwegian guys rowing the escalator up to Stadium Swim.
Yes.
And we got to get some Scottish fans over here singing John Denver for 2 hours.
There you
straight.
go.
Yes.
Do you know why the city of Las Vegas said we don't want World Cup games?
Yeah, it's because we help build a world-class arena, maybe the nicest football stadium at that time. And right when the bids were coming in, it's like, okay, we got to destroy a $300 million addition to be able to do it. Remember, it wasn't all that long ago that there was a lot of questions on whether Allegiant made sense. In retrospect, Allegiant was probably the best investment you could have ever dreamed of on a public-private investment. How many jobs and concerts and things it's brought, but there was a thought. It was designed for one reason, and we're not gonna tear it apart. Remembering you got that little toaster slice to bring the grass in and out, but it only fit the size of a football field. So they were saying, why are we going to spend $300 million to try to land between 4 and 6 games? So it was a reasonable position at that time for a brand new stadium. Why destroy it?
Okay, that's a good answer.
Good.
I didn't know that, and certainly that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody wishes we'd have been one of the cities right now, but on an investment that was questionable at that time to destroy a big chunk of it and spend an extra $300 million when remember the public was up in arms about this.
They were.
Yeah,
they
right.
were.
A little different today.
CircaLasVegas.com and CircaSports.com. Get your schedules and book your room and get in the contest. $30 million in guaranteed prizes. Entry starting at $1,000, all with no rake. Circa Million, 18 weeks, 128 ways to win. Circa Survivor, pick one winner each week. Last one standing wins. And Circa Grandissimo, we're up to 3 for the high rollers. $100,000 entry. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. $30 million guaranteed. CircaSports.com for details. CircaSports.com. Get in there now.
How are you feeling, Derek, about 1,600 or so in the regular Survivor right now?
I love it. We're on a good pace right now. And you know what? If we would have had something here, Scotland would have been here. I know we got a lot of friends at Nesson. We would not have run out of beer in Las Vegas.
And no chance. Great to see you again. Thank you for the time as always. Our in-pocket plays are coming up next here on VSiN.